Demetrious Johnson is an American mixed martial artist. He is the former UFC flyweight champion known for his incredibly quick striking and elusive movement. Johnson is also well known for landing fluent takedowns during his time in the UFC flyweight division, allowing him to make history in that division. He is the only UFC fighter to record over 10 takedowns in 3 different fights and also holds the record for most finishes in the UFC flyweight history with 7 finishes. Demetrious Johnson has made quite the name for himself amongst the MMA and UFC world and is a strong contender in the flyweight weight group. In today's video, we're going to cover Demetrious Johnson's background and how he got to where he is now, also while touching on his net worth, lifestyle, and how he spends his millions. But before we get into the video, don't forget to double leg take down that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos that we post. Background: Demetrious Johnson was born in Kentucky but raised in Parkland, Washington. Johnson didn't have the easiest childhood, being raised by his deaf mother and abusive stepfather. Unfortunately, Johnson never met his biological father, and when asked about this later in life, he said, "I've never seen a picture of him, not a glimpse, nothing." He attended Washington High School and was definitely a standout athlete, especially in track, cross country, and wrestling. During his time at high school, he placed 3rd and 2nd in the state in his junior and senior years. Even though he did very well in track and cross country, even competing in the state championships for both sports, he only participated in these sports initially to get fit and stay in shape for wrestling, which was his main passion. Unfortunately, unlike he had hoped, he did not receive any scholarships for wrestling to attend any colleges, but he still wanted to go to college and ended up going to Pearson College for 2 years while working on the side to pay for his tuition. Johnson began his career in mixed martial arts MMA in 2007 and won his professional debut with a first-round knockout. He went on to win his next 8 fights. Johnson then made his World Extreme Cage Fighting debut in 2010 against Brad Pickett. Johnson had good kickboxing skills throughout this time in the ring, but ultimately didn't have what it took to beat Pickett. In October 2010, World Extreme Cage Fighting merged with the UFC. Because of this merge, all World Extreme Cage Fighting fighters were transferred over to the UFC, meaning Johnson was transferred over as well. His first fight with the UFC was in 126, where he went up against Japanese superstar Norifumi Yamamoto in February 2011 and came out victorious due to unanimous decision. He went on to do incredibly well in his flyweight division, and in September 2012, he went up against Joseph Benavidez and came out the winner to become the UFC flyweight champion. Many, including UFC commentator Joe Rogan and UFC president Dana White, called Johnson the greatest mixed martial artist in the world. He's often known as one of the fastest, if not the fastest, fighters in MMA. Since Johnson came from a background of wrestling, he uses it to his advantage and lands numerous takedowns. Along with his amazing wrestling abilities, he is also recognized for his elusive movement and quick striking while landing fast punches and kicks to the head and body. Basically, he can do it all, and he does all well. Demetrious Johnson net worth. It is estimated that Demetrious Johnson has a net worth of around $6 million US. However, this could be higher. We aren't certain, as many sources have said varying things. For many Johnson fans, $6 million may not sound like enough, especially taking into consideration his career and where he is in today with the UFC and one championship. Some sources have reported that Johnson may earn up to $2 million US per fight, which would make his net worth much higher than $6 million US. Lifestyle. Family man. Normally when we see these UFC fighters, we picture them living this lavish lifestyle in a gigantic home, but that's not always the case. Demetrious Johnson is a big family man. He's married to Destiny Johnson, and they now have 2 sons and a daughter. When he was asked about his hard childhood, he said this about his wife Destiny: "She's the single best thing that has ever happened to me, and without her, life would be incomplete." This is why he works so hard at his career and in the ring, so he can provide the best life possible for his family. When asked about this, Johnson said, "I'm just in there trying to make this money and take care of my family," he said. "When I started out, I was excited to show who I was and what I could do, and then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, he's so short and he's so boring and you'll never win. Someone will always have something to say. I don't care. I don't go home and think about fights or spend 24 hours a day analyzing fights," the 31-year-old Washington native said after a workout in front of the media and several hundred fans at the Novo Theater on Wednesday night. "I don't even talk about fights at home. You won't see one picture of me fighting on the walls at my house. You won't see any of my belts. For me, this is a job. I love to do it. I love to come out here and put on great performances, but once it's done, I don't sit around and think about it over and over. I would say MMA is like 20% of my life. The rest is just about family, video games, and just hanging out." His love for video games and streaming. Johnson is a Twitch and Xbox fanatic. Not only is he one of the best MMA artists on the planet, but he is also an avid gamer and has become wildly successful streaming on Twitch. Johnson apparently discovered the gaming streaming platform Twitch one night while putting his son to sleep. He liked what he saw and soon began to establish himself on the platform as a celebrity streamer. Since becoming a gaming sensation, Johnson has built a dedicated gaming studio in his own home where he regularly will play games and stream to his fans while also answering questions and interacting and playing with other fellow streamers. At some point in time, Johnson even suggested one day that he may hang up his 4-ounce gloves for a headset and controller and take up streaming full time. However, this probably won't happen anytime soon as Johnson is truly peaking in his career, despite the latest loss. Not only is this a hobby that Johnson loves to partake in, it also brings in another stream of revenue, and we bet it is quite significant as Twitch has become extremely popular in the last 5 years and will only continue to grow rapidly. Johnson's diet. We all remember Johnson's legendary fight against Joseph Benavidez, you know, the one that secured him the UFC flyweight championship. Before this fight that was about to change his entire career, Johnson had been tipping the scale, sitting around 141 pounds, but his goal was to reach 125 pounds to put him in the weight limit at UFC 152. Are you curious what the UFC champ eats to slim down and get into the flyweight category? A day in the life of eating on a diet for Johnson includes scrambled eggs in the morning, made with love from his wife along with a mix of vitamins. Then at 10 a.m., Johnson will begin his workout where he focuses on power, strength, speed, and agility that goes on for around 1 to 2 hours. After his first workout of the day, he will get a protein bowl filled with grilled chicken, rice, yummy, cucumbers, sensational, and teriyaki sauce. Don't forget the sauce. Following lunch, then he goes down for a nap until around 5 p.m. so he can work out again. Finally, he will end his day of eating at around 8:30 p.m. by eating dinner with his wife and children. Although this routine and diet may sound a bit brutal for most of us, Johnson prefers it this way. Even if he isn't on a diet, he isn't a huge fan of unhealthy and processed food and tries to eat healthily the majority of the time. However, he does admit he enjoys indulging in fast food once in a while, all in moderation though. Since he has been in the fighting/combat world for so long, this has become a way of life for Johnson. Demetrious' early career lifestyle. During the early days of Johnson's MMA career, when he was trying to rack up the wins and the views, getting his name out there, he was still working full-time as a manual laborer, putting in around 10 to 12-hour shifts and then heading to the gym to train for his MMA career afterwards. Johnson has clearly always been an incredibly hard worker and has always been extremely passionate about creating a career for himself in the combat sports. When asked about this time in his life, he said, "If you look at the end of a roll of toilet paper, like the brown paper tube, I basically worked in a factory that made humongous ones like that for concrete or anything you wanted to put in there." Johnson said in an interview with the Las Vegas Sun, "I was the guy who chopped up those into smaller pieces, put them in a box, threw it in a pallet, wrapped it up, jumped in a forklift, and put it on a truck. There were so many roles and I basically did all of them except operate the big machines." And there you have it, Demetrious Johnson and his background, how he rose to fame, his net worth, and his lifestyle, along with what he spends his millions on. We hope you enjoyed today's video and learned something new about Johnson. If you want to see more content like this, then don't forget to follow and subscribe for more videos like this.